Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show. Hello, this is Steve Akeley again, and we are still on vacation at the ABV Network and wanted to put out a show for you about St. George. We celebrated the 40th anniversary of St. George, which is a craft distillery that I think it was last year, maybe the year before, celebrated 40 years of being in business, which is just amazing. You think about the craft industry in America, and 15 years is really kind of stretching it. 40 years is almost unbelievable. They kind of fly under the radar mostly, despite the fact being in business for so long and actually winning a lot of awards and that type of thing. So I thought you might enjoy this relook at our show where we celebrated the 40th anniversary of St. George Spirits.
Let's drink! Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss St. George Spirits' 40th anniversary celebration. My name is MacLeod. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Kathy Cole and Tim Swyatt.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hello.
Hello. So, we're going to be talking about a company that was started in the 80s, turning 40, that's got McNew stressed out because she is a product of the 80s as well. It means she must be turning 40 soon, very soon, I would guess.
Very stressed out.
88,
you only heard
very late 80s.
88. Wow, 88.
That was the year I graduated from high school.
I was already out of high school. I was in college. Yeah, 88. Yeah.
That was 3 years after Marty McFly came back from the future.
True. There you go. So we'll talk about St. George and their historic turning 40, which is pretty amazing. You think about craft spirits. They are the OG of craft spirits, but we'll get to that after the break. For right now, McNew said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, McNew?
Okay, so I wanted to know if this is a generational thing. So I'm hosting Thanksgiving this year at my house. And my mom is offended that I did not ask her to bring something.
Oh, that's a thing.
Okay.
That is a thing.
You really done messed up.
I said, so I think I'm hosting. I'm providing everything. So
I don't understand why this is a thing, McNew, but it is a thing. So a few years ago, my mom, who had always done Thanksgiving, it was a big thing, and you could see the stress that would happen to her on Thanksgiving. Okay. She's running around making sure everybody's happy, cooking, entertaining, doing the whole thing. And we finally took it over at my house, and then it was kind of, bring a couple dishes on that. And then we finally said, you know what? We can do all this. Let's just do it. And we told my mom not to bring anything.
That I asked her to not bring it.
Right. We told my mom not to bring something, and we think that's a good thing because then she can just relax and have a fun.
She can just show up as a guest.
She was furious.
She was furious.
This was just a couple of years ago, so she called my kid. Rather than call me or the warden, she calls my kid and said, "This is ridiculous. I don't know what your parents are trying to do. Why don't they want me to bring something? I can bring things. Why they don't want me to contribute to the family? I'm part of this. Why like she's reading stuff into this. It just lets her have a fun day. She doesn't have to do anything. Oh, furious. Just furious. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want me to pull out my psychology degree?
Sure, sure.
Please.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Please.
So she's provided for you guys all these years.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. For sure.
And then
Yeah.
what you said to her was, I don't need you anymore.
Oh, that was not the intent.
Now you know how she feels.
Please
So tell her to bring some rolls or
Oh, yeah.
a
My
salad.
mom has to
or
bring
something.
something now. It's not even a question anymore. This
It's
is
not a
years
question.
ago. So, yeah,
Please bring a dessert, and that was not enough.
my mom doesn't know how to cook, dessert. So you tell my mom, bring dessert. It's 4 people. Now it's 5. I guess my daughter's boyfriend. So you've got 5 people. She'll bring 5 pies. The woman has no ability to measure what a group needs. She still makes
No.
she still makes the dessert she made when we had 45 people at Thanksgiving.
So I feel like you're coming to my house. I'm going to supply everything that needs to be needed.
Right.
And she's like, "What can I bring?" I'm like, "Yourself." And she felt
I
like
look forward to the day when my kid is like,
her.
"Show up at my house. I'll feed you guys. You can hang out. Then when you leave, when you're done."
Yeah,
I'll
but the
clean
warden
everything up."
might feel differently.
I don't know. I'll be fine with it. I'll be fine with it.
It's different between guys and gals for sure. Dads, I'm all in for it. Do everything. It's about time. Moms, it's a whole different story. Yeah, my mom revolted. She decided to bring her famous Jello mold, which only like she eats, and my sister. And this time it wasn't fully set. She said, "You're gonna have to set it yourself." So she brings over a half-made Jello mold out of spite. And I mean, my grandmother had an absolute temper tantrum because we wouldn't let her do anything. And then, Kathy, you hit it best. It's because she felt like she wasn't needed anymore, that we didn't want her anymore. No, Grandma, we want you to be with us. Sit down and let's talk.
Right.
Put the dish rag down. Put the stuff down. We're good.
But that's not how she feels needed.
Yeah, so Kathy, I did not get that point where they wanted to feel needed. I just wanted them to feel invited and welcome.
And pampered. Maybe pampered.
Yes, and pampered. Like, I did everything for you.
Here's a
Please
recognition of all that you've done.
enjoy
It's not that you're not needed. Here's a recognition for how hard you worked through all these years. You can just have fun. Like I used to do as a kid.
No,
and Mom made all the stuff and I used to just run around. Yeah.
They are pissed right now. They are
So I
It
don't.
doesn't work that way though, folks. You'll get
No,
your ass chewed. You
it
tell your
doesn't.
mom not to bring
It
stuff.
doesn't.
I'm telling you.
That's a pro tip.
You
You
will
need to
get your
ask her
ass
to bring
chewed.
just something,
Yeah.
whatever her classic thing was.
Don't get a fight. Just do it. And then, you know how moms are. They might not even say something. Like, my mom didn't say anything to me. It bubbles up through my kid that she's furious. Yeah.
So it comes through my husband, like last year. So my dad liked green bean casserole. I don't like that. I don't like green beans. I hate them. So I made it for him. So now this year she's like, "Do I need to make that?" I'm like, "No, he's not even going to be here this year. Like, why would you make that?"
That's a double whammy. Like,
it.
no, don't make your famous green bean casserole that Dad loved and cherished.
Like, I had to scrape it on a plate. Like, somebody ate it, but like he's the only person that ate it, but he's not even alive. Like, it's gonna be fucking weird. So I just
Take your bite and you hide it in your milk glass like you did when you were a kid, and you make her feel good.
Exactly. Goddamn. Moms make fucking things weird.
There's no winning with your mom.
We love them.
You never win with your mom.
love
You'll
the
always
moms.
lose
We
when it comes to
appreciate
arguing.
them, but they just make things weird sometimes.
Well, on that note, I think it's a well-deserved time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Tim. Tim, what do you got?
I'm going to grab a bottle of toasted French oak Buzzard's Roost straight bourbon whiskey.
Okay.
Nice.
Wow, there's something with this microphone.
He doesn't even care.
Yeah.
Probably a good
anymore.
microphone. It shuts out.
You can almost
It shuts
hear
out
his
explosive
face
noises.
going, "Fuck these bottle pops."
It's probably
Can't
Tim's
wait to
got a
get the
setting.
drink.
It's probably the setting.
He's trying to cut out all the gas that he passes, so he's got this microphone that removes explosive noises and it takes out his cork pops. Because you know how Tim listens to this stuff and tries to listen for gas. So that's the whole thing. All right, I'll go next. I have St. Cloud. St. Cloud. So let's see what we got here. Ooh, that was good. It was good. It was not great, but good enough. Certainly more than Tim. So let's see what we got. All right, Kathy, you're next.
I'm going to open up some Neely rye whiskey.
Okay. Okay. It was very sloshy and squeaky, and I think I did a better,
Much cleaner for me.
much cleaner cork pop. All right, so I've got the lead. McDo, you're last but not least. What do you got?
So I actually have Maker's 46, which looks like regular Maker's. I hate this new label design. I really do fucking hate it. But it is just screw top. It wasn't even a cork.
A screw top. Well, I win on that note. So yeah, good for me.
Hey, Steve.
Here's Steve.
Cheers, gang.
Salute.
Is that really their new bottle? Did they change it?
Yes,
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
they did. So Maker's used to have a whole different bottle design, everything. Now it looks like this, like a regular Maker's, and it's not.
I think it looks good. I don't know.
I hate it. I do not like it. I like Maker's 46 being Maker's 46. I don't like it.
I like
New Year glass shortage violins.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. There you go. All right. Well, next we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about St. George Spirits and their historic 40th anniversary. Kathy's got all kinds of research she did. It'll be fun. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com.
Hello, this is Jeff from Iowa, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about St. George Spirits and their 40-year single malt.
Yes, we are. Luckily, we have Kathy with us, does all the research. Kathy, what did you find out? What do you got for us?
I tried to find stuff. I found out that St. George Spirits is in Alameda, California.
Yeah, they are.
They opened in the 80s.
Okay.
And they've been doing single malt whiskeys every year for quite a long time. So this is just their 40-year anniversary version of their single malt.
Yes. It's not a new product for them or anything like that, but it is a special release and they haven't been doing that from the beginning. I mean, they've done a lot of different stuff, so they do a little bit of everything at St. George. So even like absinthe and stuff like that. So they do a bunch of stuff. Yeah, very. When you're talking about craft whiskey and craft distilleries, I mean, 40 years is unheard of. I mean, your 10 years that's somebody who's been doing it a long time these days. So you're over 10 years. You've been at this for a long time. Well, they've been at 40 as of this year. So that's
I did read that when they opened, there were only 200 distilleries in the country.
200 distilleries, yes. So
okay,
that
that's
seems
commendable.
Yeah, and you wonder how many that really is, because places like Beam, they count for like 8 and things like that, or there's all this, or Heaven Hill, you got the Elijah Craig Distillery. Well, there's no such thing. I mean, that's a brand really that falls under, that's made, so I don't know how they count distilleries actually. I don't actually know what actually truly counts as a distillery. So they're very early on. 200 is overstated in that there weren't 200 physical locations throughout the U.S. Much less than that, and it's wild. So to even think about. This product is a special edition of the single malt to honor the distillery's 40th anniversary, and it's a highly limited bottling that celebrates the major milestone in the distillery's history that pays homage to the creative spirit that has driven the distillery to push the categorical boundaries since its inception. It's going to be released at the distillery on December 11th, or not even December at all, November 12th. I saw the 12/11 there, but that's where I messed myself up there. So November 12th / 11 o'clock a.m. So November 12th, 11 a.m. You can pick this up. Again, $100 a bottle, which I don't know.
And no count, but is it a single barrel?
They don't say. It doesn't say. So we don't know. We know it's just limited release. So probably a single barrel, I would guess.
So single malt's really coming up. Am I behind the times when I say that single malt American single malt whiskey is
it's really coming
starting
up
to get a name for itself?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I don't think you're behind. I think you're ahead. Honestly, it's going to be a thing.
It is a thing, but we're
growth stage.
Yeah, it's definitely in the growth stage, and it's going to be to the explosive growth stage. Once they get that, they're working on getting the legislation finalized to define the category as exactly what an American single malt is. And once they do that, I think everyone's going to be trying it. I think that because you can use the same barrels that you made bourbon with, it has used cooperage in there, which is key. So you spent $375 on a barrel. You don't have to create a lesser product or sell it off for a fraction of what you paid for it. You can make another product that is equally as viable. Single malts are coming up. It's something that can probably sell, and it's going to sell for probably an equal price of what your bourbon did. So that is really an exciting thing when you think about mostly, people make corn whiskey, but corn whiskey ends up being a step down from bourbon typically. It's lower price. So this is something that can be very viable, and I think most distillers will at least experiment with it. And as more get involved, there becomes more creativity. How do you differentiate your single malt versus someone else's? And I think it ends up being a true category that starts to really make its mark on the American
So
whiskey.
I have a follow-up question on that then.
Sure.
Some of the better bourbons that we're tasting, they're using the more heritage corns. They're using the things that are harder to find. They can only use the barrels once. Is this a way to offset, to make money on something that's easier to make money on? Because personally, I'm not a single malt fan. Mm-hmm. There's few that I really like. I've had some good stuff that we've had from Deerhammer. You had a really good bottle at the barrel shop.
Yeah.
Dulac or Delac or
Whiskey Delbac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really tasty. But as far as it's like the American Scotch.
Right.
So anyway, is this a way to offset that cost for finding good, harder to find grains, harder to find, over seasoned wood, but we still need to, or I don't know where I'm getting at, but.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a way to create a product that allows the craft distillery and the distiller behind it to show their creativity. And, I saw the big guys are getting, Jack Daniels is coming out with a single malt now that's never been done. Jim Beam has got one that they're getting ready to release. So they're going to be in it. I think that it's going to be more and more. And I agree with Kathy, they're not all good, but you have to think of American single malts almost like craft distilling. And if we go back, we can go back 8 years ago, and we could be like, all right, let's taste some craft distillery stuff. All we have is we're used to Jim Beam and Buffalo Trace or whatever else is around 8 years ago. I think a lot of the craft whiskey we taste is probably like, that's no good. It's not, it's not good. And I was a person like that didn't necessarily like craft whiskey. I like the brands I know. I like them. And now, lo and behold, I feel like craft whiskey is on par, and in many examples better. And I think that single malt category is going to grow. And I think that you find some good ones from time to time. I agree with Kathy. Seems like there's more bad ones than good ones, but then you find some good ones sometimes. You're like, man.
So maybe they just need more practice.
They need more practice, and I think that'll refine as they're all going to get in it. I think it'll start to change, and I think it can be a very viable category that people look forward to. So. Will it ever get as big as bourbon? I doubt it, but yeah. What do you got, Tim?
Yeah, well, first off, on St. George, I did not. They're still independent from what I can see. They're still nobody's picked them up yet. From what it looks like, they're not with a conglomerate or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that surprised me on that one. The craft distiller being there, being strong enough. I think of High West as an example. Somebody who really blazed a path out there on the West Coast that you didn't find out about unless you knew. And St. George, I think, is one of those. I think they stayed very local and very true to their local community, and then branched out when they needed to, but on their terms, which I think is very odd. To be 40 years in the business and doing that and not getting scooped up by somebody. I'm sure they had plenty of offers. We're telling them, no, we're going to do it our way. I don't want to be controlled or being told where I need to be or what I can produce. That speaks a lot about the brand and the folks behind there, I think. But then, Kathy, talking about the single malt, if you think about it, majority of our bourbon barrels, if not most of them, go to Scotland. For aging single malt Scotch. Now, if that distiller can keep that $375 in that barrel that they've had aging for how many years with tax on, turn it back into a product, age it for a few more, and get more value out of that barrel, then I think there's where your pricing model is on that. Because you're right, those bottles are going to be $60, $50, $60. But I think with the whole American single malt thing coming out, everybody's coming out of the shadows because now it's okay to say that we've got malt down, and it's okay to say that now. So, like you said, Steve, Jack Daniels is leading it. Jim Beam saying all of a sudden this stuff's all coming. Well, this stuff was laid down 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, and nobody wanted to talk about it. And then all of a sudden it's okay to talk about it. So I think if you can get away from the peated mindset of everything tasting like iodine and Band-Aids, you get out of your Isla and your peated scotches. There's a ton of unmalted scotches that are out there. Or unsmoked, unpeat smoked malt, unsmoked malts out there. Same thing you're going to find on the American side, but you're going to find it with more American palate-pleasing tastes on the smoke side if they do it, but also the unmalted, unsmoked stuff.
Yeah,
I think that Whiskey Del Bach is spectacular in the barrel shop, and I'll tell you, Steve, it was nice watching that flagship whiskey event that we did over the summer with 8 different single malt distillers, and each one different. Each one has a little bit of that bourbon entry into it that hooks you in, and you're like, wow, that's something I haven't tasted before. That's unique and complex.
Those were good events. Lenny handpicked who was in that, and he's so in tune with single malts because that's his favorite style of whiskey that he really curated some great events because he knew where to go and choose ones that were pleasing to the bourbon drinker, and that was great. He did a great job with that. So. It was cool. So, yeah, definitely a category we want to explore more. But on St. George, happy birthday to them. 40 years. That's amazing to be in that business. And to Tim's point, they've just kind of stayed true to themselves, it sounds. They haven't expanded distribution. They haven't done anything. They've known for their creativity and kind of just doing what they knew in the market that they are in and not much beyond the bounds of that. And there can be something that's said for that. Not trying to get too big, just kind of keeping the ship, going forward on the straight and narrow. So they did good. And if you're out that way, you're in California, get by the distillery on November 12th and get you a bottle of that. It sounds like it's a pretty cool thing to have for sure. On that note, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Kathy, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram. I am KK Cask Strength.
All right, Tim.
Find me on Instagram at SwyGuy2112.
McNew.
I'm on Instagram at McNewABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, some of McNew's greatest shows, and more, abvnetwork.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the
All right, we're going to do a couple shots and things like that and get ready for our last 2 shows between shows. But for now, take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. All tonight. Bye.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing, the ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.